Most of us have insurance coverage of one form or another. Lots of us have different types of insurance that provide for different kinds of coverages, whether it's for home or auto or work. But the reality is, insurance is a very useful product, and that's why there's a lot of insurance companies out there, and they're doing very, very well because they've got many, many customers who require their services. We have insurance to protect us in the event of a loss of some kind or other. In the world of disability insurance, the loss we're concerned about is our inability to work and earn an income to support ourselves and our families. This can be a very confusing area for lots of people. Sometimes we have disability insurance through our employment. Sometimes it's private coverages that we have. And there are different elements to insurance coverage because you can have a private policy through one of the major insurance companies, but you can also have specific coverages. For example, lots of people have a Canada pension coverages through their employment. If you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, you may have coverage through Section B of your auto policy. Some folks will have specific disability coverages to insure a mortgage or a loan that they have with the bank. So the various types of coverages and the various interplay of these coverages, one with the other, because sometimes if you get one coverage, another coverage is deducted. Again, because of the overriding rules that govern insurance payments and coverages, usually mandated by provincial statutes. In a broad sense, it should be understood that disability insurance can arise in a variety of circumstances. We often see it associated with accidents, motor vehicle accidents, or sometimes what they call slip and fall accidents, where people have an injury as a result of falling. But disability insurance applies for illnesses as well. You can be working, have a long working career and develop an illness of some kind. It could be a serious illness such as heart disease or cancer. It could be a mental illness, PTSD or anxieties that render you unable to continue with your employment. Most policies of insurance, long-term disability or LTD policies, have a variable definition. There's a disability coverage usually for the first 2 years that's often termed own occupation, and that is that the individual is unable to perform the essential duties of their own occupation. And as I've indicated, that's usually for a 2-year period in most policies. But following that 2-year period, the definition then changes to an any occupation rule. And the test for eligibility for insurance in those circumstances is whether you can perform the essential duties of any occupation for which you're suited by reason of training, education, or experience. So for the first 2 years, the issue is, can you perform the occupation you were engaged in at the time you went off on disability? But after 2 years, the insurance company will no longer be responsible for covering that LTD coverage if, even though you can't do your own occupation, it's deemed that you can perform some other occupation. So I often talk about the lawyer who originally wasn't a lawyer. He was a farm boy, but he had a workplace accident on the farm, and he couldn't be a farmer anymore because he was in a wheelchair as a result of that accident. But he went on to go to law school and went on to become a lawyer. So your circumstances can change because of your education, because of your training, or other experience you may have had in life that mean that you can go on to have a less demanding occupation, or an occupation that doesn't require the same skill set you had at the time you went off on disability.